you know, the painful thing about Zimbabwe's elections is that they already won. It's really a waste of time. And anyone else who's going there, I mean, Chamisa won elections the last time, and they just stole them like that. And then when the people try to rise, they get beaten. They already won. And then now Tyson wants to come in. They manipulate the processes. They block him because Mnangagwa won with 30,000 votes, 35,000 votes. For you to get a threshold, for him to get a threshold, he got 35,000 votes. If Tyson comes in, he's likely to take not less than 100,000 votes, and Mnangagwa doesn't reach a threshold, and Chamisa doesn't reach a threshold, then it's a stalemate. Then there will be a rerun, and if they still don't reach the threshold, then there must be a government of national unity, so that they buy some time while they are still preparing for other elections. So the only intervention that can be made is by Zimbabweans who are all over the world. They are found in London, they are found in Botswana, they are found in South Africa. They need to take a conscious decision to go back home and vote. No one says go back and stay there and don't come back. If they've got what it takes, they will come back. But the country is in a crisis, and you're not going to resolve that crisis by staying out of the country. They have to make an appointment with going back home to go and vote. And the numbers must be so decisive such that even rigging becomes impossible. Because rigging happens when the contest is too close. But if the margins are too high, it becomes impossible. So the people of Zimbabwe must decide what they want and go and do the right thing. Otherwise, Mnangagwa is going to lead them, and not in a correct manner. When they try to rise, they are going to be suppressed. President Putin must come to South Africa. Everywhere else where Putin will be passing, there must be immunity. Putin is not coming to South Africa. Putin is coming to Brics. And there ought to be that difference where South Africa declares a certain territories as Brics territories. The way we do with embassies and all of that. No one can just walk into any embassy here and say, no, you want to pull out a person from that embassy. No, it's not South Africa. It's an embassy of the USA. It's a Russian embassy and all of that. Where this meeting is going to take place, we ought to declare that a Brics territorial area. And then say to these people, there is nothing we can do. He's not coming to us, he's coming to attend.
We did with the UN when the World Summit was here.
Yes. So, and we allow Brics to proceed. Those arguments by President Lula and all of them, they ought to take place in that context where they can engage as leaders in terms of the types of the formula and the structure that they need to take in order to have a functional multinational body that will be seized with all these matters. ICC is inconsistent, and America is not a signatory, yet wants other people to be signatories and subject them to the law that they do not subject themselves to. We cannot allow that. So if we are going to continue with ICC without it being challenged, it has to be consistent in the application of its laws. They continue to make mistakes. Bushi, now Biden, in their speeches make reference to Afghanistan because it's haunting them. It's haunting them. Iraq is haunting them. Why did they come and kill brother leader here, Gaddafi? For what reason? There was no need. So And everywhere else they went in the name of peace, they left destruction. There's no mission they took which has arisen in giving sustainable peace. And therefore, we can't say NATO, it's a peaceful organization. It's a war organization. It's a war organization. And unfortunately, we voted for the destruction of Libya. And when we raised that matter in the ANC, and we raised it sharply in the ANC and disagreed with Zuma, that we were told we were disrespectful. We were told we are young, we don't know what we are talking about. That thing is haunting us. He comes to the Youth League conference, he reads half of the resolution of the UN. When Floyd completes the resolution, because Zuma said no, we said no fly zone. And then he leaves it there. Floyd screams from the back and says, and any other necessary means. Because any other necessary means is the one that allowed these people to enter Libya and distract it. He doesn't want to read that part. And then he says to Floyd, inside the conference, because we're exposing him that you are not reading the whole thing. And China could not veto the resolution. Russia could not veto the resolution. Why? South Africa voted for it. If South Africa had voted against that resolution, China and Russia would have vetoed that resolution. Gaddafi will still be alive. So, and we spoke these things. No one will ever, I mean, people write books about nationalization, about things we spoke about, including Marikana, documentaries are done, and then we just get expunged out of that history as if we were never there, giving a particular perspective which has been proven over a period of time. Because if you do that, you are legitimizing them. Look, I have no regret of saying I want to remain in the ANC. I've got no regret. I would have corrected the ANC from within. Because I've never wanted to form a political party, and I will never form another political party if this EFF expels me. It's not a child's play. You know, just wake up in the morning and then you say you form it. It's difficult. We are still forming it even now, 10 years down the line. I said to them, take my membership, suspend me for 10 years without occupying. No, leave my membership, suspend me for 10 years plus without me occupying any position of responsibility. And you can take us to Cuba, to China for political education. Dariganokom suspended us for 5 years. Me 5 years, Floyd 3 years, Magata 1 year. When we did an appeal, mine changed from 5 years suspension to expulsion. Cyril changed it to expulsion. Henokom didn't expel me. I was expelled by Cyril. And then Floyd 3 years. Floyd was not expelled. He resigned on his own. And then Magata remained. And then he finished his 1 year. I said to them, leave me with the membership, because I knew I don't need to be a member. I had already made a huge impact. I don't need to be a leader. As long as you will allow me to be in an ANC rally, as long as you will allow me to be in the ANC conference, as a cleaner there, as a volunteer, WUPEX, I will kill you. I will finish you. I don't have to be a delegate. As long as I can be amongst you. And then they knew at that time that this request is very dangerous. Because I don't want nothing. Just membership, it's enough. But no, we don't want those things. Then they expelled me. I accepted. Also, when I left, I was not going to form a party. I left. I went to do farming. I did crops, cabbage, I did tomato, and then I did cattle. The ANC went on January 8 in 2013. That Sunday, I can't remember who did the article for City Press, came to interview me. I don't know if it's Jaffet or what. Came to interview me in my farm. I'd now accepted my fate. I left. I'm doing farming. I'm no longer. My interview is about what is your next life. You know, you can look at me. I'm in the farm. I'm farming. I'm okay. politics is not for me, they don't want me. ANC tradition is such that that Sunday of January 8, all front pages are ANC. But that day front page was me with the cabbages. And that thing irritated Praveen. Why is he still having a farm? Why is he still having a farm? Then they came to take my farm. And then invited me back into politics. That's why when a person says to me, no, they say I'm what? This thing they always say,
flip-flop.
No, they're like a prophet of a church, like cult. Yeah, it's a cult. It's a cult.
Yeah.
A cult that goes home. Because a cult would have moved from the ANC and say, follow me. I've never been a cult. I left. And I didn't live with anyone. I never said to anyone, let's go and form a political party. I left and went to do farming. That's the reality of the situation. Now, you take the farm. That is the second thing I know. By doing that, then you invite me back into politics. That's why I'm back here.
Have you forgiven Cyril? If next year...
I've forgiven everyone.
You can work with him.
He's a crook. I can't work with him.
Oh my God. All right, let's just...
But you didn't answer my question on leadership.
No,
I'll do a follow-up.
No, I relate with all political leaders. President Mbeki, I've got a very good relationship with him. At any time, I can take a phone call him, and go and seek guidance on this or that. He does the same. If there are issues that he needs, clarity from the EFF, he makes a call and invite us. The same with President Zuma. I missed President Zuma this Monday when he was leaving to Russia because we had our own war council. President Motlanthe and all political leaders. And I'm one person when I've got an issue with any leader, be it Steenhuisen, be it General Olomesa, Musi, or anyone, I take the call and I make a call and I sell my views. They can reject them, but I'm not shy to express them.
All right,
I've got a relationship. Yeah.
There seems to be a brutal U.S. war on South Africa. This is something that's not quite clear. People are not connecting the dots. And there are many events that are telling us this. The first one, of course, is the U.S. ambassador's arms sales allegation and pressure on South Africa. The second one is the AGOA, they're trying to get South Africa out of this AGOA deal and force South Africa to lose preferential trade treatment with South Africa. And the other one is, there are many others, but let me probably stop there. But, well, maybe I should. South African passports, there are two languages. If many of you remember, there's English and French. My question is, what is French still doing on that passport? Can the EFF take this as a serious matter and find an African language on that? Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I have not been paying attention on the French part. Yeah. But it's a very interesting point that we will take up with the authorities. I fully agree that there is a war by the US to undermine the sovereignty of South Africa, because by threatening us to take a position or else we're losing the benefits of AGOA, is to try and dictate a foreign policy. And the current government has got a duty on its own to defend its sovereignty by standing firm and say we are non-aligned and we are not going to be bullied by the USA to take side on its war with Russia, because we know for a fact that it's not Ukraine. It has got no capacity, none whatsoever. It's a war that is being fought by the US against Russia through Ukraine and NATO. So far, under very difficult circumstances, because we are not led by decisive leadership. So far, we are trying to do best with the current minister, who from time to time try to push and defend the sovereignty of South Africa, because that is very fundamental. If we let go with these benefits that we seek to achieve from AGOA, then we should know that our foreign policy positions are decided somewhere else, and therefore there is nothing sovereign about South Africa. We can just close shop and allow America to send the notes for us on what to say and not what to say. So our existence is to guard against that and put pressure and ensure that the sovereignty of South Africa, it is protected. The summit indeed is present different dynamics in the world, and we are happy and we're educating our people about these issues that are taking place. Especially one of the issues that we are interested in is doing away with the dollar as a middleman, and that discussion is very, very important, that we follow it up and support those initiatives, because why should we trade with someone else's currency when we have our own currencies? So the world will be sitting, trying to come up with alternatives in terms of the geopolitics, and South Africa is ready to receive the world and contribute positively towards changing the dynamics in the geopolitics. I don't think Putin runs an imperialistic war, because imperialism will seek to extend its influence over others' territories. And that's not what he's seeking to do. All he's saying is that NATO cannot expand itself to a point where it threatens Russian security. It doesn't talk about encroaching on other people's sovereignty and imposing its ideological orientations on those other countries. He's saying, this is me, and when you come closer to me and put your weapons facing at my direction, you are a threat to me, and therefore I don't want that. Whereas imperialism wants to extend itself into other people's territories. He's not saying, he never woke up in the morning and said, I want to annex Ukraine and make it part of Russia. All he said is that your joining of NATO is a direct threat to Russia and undermines many other treaties which made a commitment that NATO will not extend to that particular direction. And that's all. And I always say to people that people have a right to choose what they want to choose and all of that. If NATO decide to choose to join, I mean, if Ukraine decide to choose to join NATO, what is his problem? But what if you go to bed one day and then your wife comes to bed with a knife and say it is her right to choose what she wants to sleep with, and then she's going to sleep next to you with a knife? You can't allow that. There's not going to be sleeping that day. No one is going to sleep in that room. And then Barry's got a right to carry a knife and then sleep with knife next to me. So it can't be, it's not correct. You said something about American puppet?
Yeah, within the Zimbabwean election.
Well, that is Mbalula's view, and it is at the ultimate end the choice of the people of Zimbabwe who they vote for. Tsvangirai won elections. Mugabe refused to accept the results, and then President Mbeki intervened. There was a government of national unity, and then subsequently there was the election. Mugabe won, and then this one came through the way it came, and the people voted Tsvangirai. Even Mnangagwa's people will tell you that we lost that vote. I mean Chamisa. they voted Chamisa. Twice they won. Tsvangirai won, Chamisa won. At least Tsvangarai's winning was announced. The only difference was that he didn't reach the threshold. This one's winning was handled differently. And remember, the army plays a role in Zimbabwe as to who wins, who doesn't win. So, if Mbalula characterizes Chamisa as an American puppet, he has to produce some form of evidence. He can't just talk. Why is he saying he's an American puppet? Because if you read Tsvangirai and Chamisa's policies and those of the ANC, they are the same. They're the same. Chamisa, the ANC and DA, they all sing from the same hymn book. So why would he, who is he to tell us that Chamisa is an American puppet? The ANC has been the British puppet from its formation. The ANC had a thing in, was it constitution, protect the Queen, in its constitution at the formation of the ANC. So you can't come and want to lecture us about puppets of anything. If the people want Chamisa, they must vote Chamisa. If the people want Tyson, they must vote. How do you disqualify a person from contesting you? It's already a sign of panic. Because if you don't doubt yourself and we're talking democracy, open the field. Let everyone contest. Why are you scared of Kasikweri? Kasikweri must be allowed to contest so that people have more options of what they want to do with Zimbabwe. We need a stable Zimbabwe, especially ourselves as South Africa. We need a stable Zimbabwe, and we so wish that this election are successful and there's no violence and they produce stability for the sake of our own peace. Because this thing that we see here of Zimbabweans being beaten up and all of that really is not nice. It's not nice. So a functioning Zimbabwe will lessen some of these xenophobic tendencies that we come across from time to time.